Welcome to the Nasty Labs podcast, legally the best podcast. We're part of game studio Chuhai Labs. We talk about games, game dev, Japan, and whatever
else comes up.
So as always, we're your hosts, Kinsey and Mark. So open up a Chuhai and
let's go. Francis didn't say let's go, dude.
I already screwed it up.
Kinsey, what's going on here? Why do we have this dude here?
We have a very special guest with us. This is Francis. He is a programmer here at Chuhai Labs. And you know what? Introduce yourself. Who the hell are you?
Who the hell are you?
Hi, I'm Francis, and I work here at Chuhai Labs. I'm a gameplay programmer, and I've been here for 2 years now. I think it's coming up in 2 years.
2 whole years,
Dude.
And he's never been on the show.
Never.
He was like, I don't want to fucking be on your show.
I'm a big fan.
Francis, where the heck are you from? What did you do before? Hit us with the highlights, the highlight reel of who the hell Francis is.
Yeah, sure. So I'm originally from Montreal. I have been making games for 15 years now, which
Old
is
man.
Damn.
Yeah, a wild thing to say out loud. And I started off at EA Montreal, a studio known for Army of Two, Boogie, which was a game for the Wii, the original Wii.
Oh, you made a Wii game?
I didn't work on Boogie. I was working on Army of Two at the time.
Right.
And also known for visceral games like Dead Space 2.
Oh, shit.
And so I worked there for a few years, and then I moved on to Square Enix in Montreal.
Never heard of it.
And I spent almost a decade over there.
Holy
and
shit.
I had the pleasure of working on games like Lara Croft Go and Hitman Go. And yeah, now I'm here at Chuhai Labs for 2 years now.
Happy almost anniversary.
Yay.
Thank you. I think it's coming up in 3 weeks.
What? Really?
Yeah, something
Oh
like
my
that. Or maybe
God. We're gonna
maybe I'm wrong.
celebrate.
I'll have to double check. And yeah, so I was at first working remotely from Montreal for like a year, and last summer I moved here in beautiful and sweaty Kyoto.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Before we get into the nitty gritty of why you came over here, which I have plenty of questions, but what the hell is Lara Croft Go?
So Lara Croft Go is a game originally made for mobile game devices like iPhone and Android. So it's a puzzle game featuring Lara Croft, and so it was kind of like a distillation of that whole kind of like brand into like a turn-based puzzle.
Is that the 4-player one or no?
No, it's not. It's a single-player, kind of like lo-fi aesthetics. Very kind of like same vibe as like Monument Valley style.
Oh, rad. Okay.
And it was a follow-up to Hitman Go, which was also like a similar treatment, but for the Hitman franchise.
Got it. And in Lara Croft Go, do you like go find a piece of treasure and then shoot it with your machine guns? What are we doing? Like, because she's like an archaeologist, right?
She is, yeah. She's a lot more than that. But so it was hard to kind of translate all that kind of like very action that that brand for into like a turn-based puzzle.
Right.
And so the actual gameplay is kind of movement on nodes, kind of just going from like little block to block, and then you're taking down enemies, and then you're collecting keys and opening contraptions. And so it's like a very kind of chill, but that still has the essence of like an action game.
Were you on the contraption team? What team were you
Contraption team?
So we were like a really small team.
Right.
So the studio at the time, I think, may have been around 40 people, 40-ish.
Oh, okay.
And so for that team, it couldn't have been more than like 15, 20 people on the core team. And so I got to work on a bit of everything.
That's awesome.
So many hats, I think maybe like a similar move to here. So kind of like small team, though we were still under like the big Square Enix umbrella. And so I got to do like a bit of everything, like game mechanics and like level design and like UI and achievements and all that kind of stuff. So
sick.
Yeah.
I think Kinsey has the big question though, and it's
why Japan?
That one. Why Japan?
Why Japan?
Yeah.
So when I was at Square Enix, I got really lucky. And I got a chance to go and live in Tokyo to work on Final Fantasy 15.
Oh my God!
I love that game.
Yeah, it's great.
Thanks, Francis.
Thanks for liking it. It was kind of like a wild dream come true for me because I think like a lot of people grew up on Final Fantasy.
Definitely.
And to go from there to like I want to make video games for a living to actually moving to Tokyo and working on a mainline title is wild. Like I'm still kind of like shook by having that opportunity. And yeah, so when I did that, I loved it. It was a great experience.
Right.
And I guess in the last few years, I've been kind of really itching to come back here.
Okay.
And because I really like life in Japan, and
Here
I
it comes.
figured
Hell yeah.
Here comes the cool part.
if there was a really cool opportunity,
Right.
then I would grab it and definitely come here.
Right. When is that opportunity coming?
And so this one time, a little game came out called Curse the Golf,
Hell yeah.
and you may have heard of it.
Never heard of it.
And yeah, so I heard about the game on Twitter, and I kind of looked it up. I was like, oh, this looks really cool. Who made this? And then I found out about Chuhai Labs and about life here in Kyoto, and I saw that perchance there was a job opening, and so I applied, and the stars aligned. And here I am.
Yay! And what are you working on? You can break NDAs right now. Right here.
I can't.
Obviously you can't, but obviously it's the best thing you've ever fucking seen. All right, that's what that's what we're supposed to say anyway. You know what I mean? Let's do the hard sell. So how's life been in Japan since you've been here? Like, has it been everything you've ever wanted and more, or like hit us with those notes?
Yeah, I mean, life in Japan is great. I think, like, if I were to describe it, it's hard not to go to like the usual suspects of things.
Right.
Food is amazing. Like the country is beautiful. Public transportation is absolutely amazing. But I think just in general, life is good here.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if it's just me getting old, but being in Kyoto specifically, like, it's a mid-sized city. It's not too big. It's not too small.
Right.
You have access to nature like at any time. You're a 15-minute bike ride away from the mountains or the river, and so there's a nice balance of everything. And I guess not to get cheesy, but
Not cheese it up.
I'm gonna cheese it up, but it's hard not to fall in love with the city, like
Yeah.
everything about this, just
Yeah.
like the daily life. Like I had visited it like a long time ago, like in 2013, and I was hitting like all the big tourist spots, and that was great. But like being here and just living life is just so great. So yeah, it's been really, really great. It's also been like my second time around living in this country, so I was a bit more ready as to like what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, but Kyoto is a completely different beast from Tokyo.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's just a really cool place to be.
Tokyo's like almost too big. I don't know what it is. Like I do really love Tokyo though. But like someone asks you to meet them for dinner and you look up their pin and you're like, "Oh, it's an hour."
I mean, you get used to it in Tokyo. 'Cause
Yeah, totally,
You have
yeah.
to. Whereas here, we're almost jaded to the point where it's
Yeah.
like they're like, "Oh, I'm over at this place," and you're like, a 5-minute bike ride. I don't know.
I remember like before I moved here, I had posted on Slack about like this beer place.
Right.
And I was like, I can't wait to check this beer place out when I move. And someone was like, it's south of Shijo.
That's a place in the city.
Yeah, it's
That's
a street. And it was like, we don't go south of Shijo. And it was funny. I was like, oh, doesn't seem that far away.
Yeah. So, what have you been? What have your main hobbies been? What have you been up to?
Yeah, so I guess my main hobby here is this martial art called kendo.
Oh, hell yeah.
Tell us about this martial art called kendo.
Yeah, I can talk about it for
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah. Not for hours. How about-
So yeah, kendo is martial arts. So it's fencing, where we fence with bamboo swords and protective armor.
Right.
You may have seen it if you've seen like kind of like the uniform with like the big mask with the metal grill, and the shoulder flaps. Yeah, I've been doing that for 10 years ish. I started in Montreal, did a
So
bit in
cool.
Tokyo, and now I'm doing it here in Kyoto. And yeah, it's really addictive, and yeah, I love it.
Yeah, the one thing that you told me a couple months ago that actually made me like the concept a lot more was that in order for a point or whatever you call to
Ippo.
count,
Ippo.
an ippo,
Mm.
in order for that to count, you have to.
So it's more than just, if you think about fencing, it's more than just hitting the right target.
Right.
So it's not about the first person who hits the target, it's how you hit it. So there's a series of things that you need to achieve in your strike for it to be valid in a point, which I won't get into because that's too much.
No.
But yeah, so it's really about perfecting your strikes. And so yeah, it's you always try to be better at doing very simple things.
Okay, he's overcomplicating it. It's the part that I liked so much was you have to yell.
Oh,
like,
shit,
That
yeah,
part is
yeah.
so cool. Explain. Like, is there more to it than that? Like,
Yeah, so there is yelling. Actually, that's like the big thing when people see kendo for the first time. It's everybody shouting.
Right.
And so you shout when you hit. So when you're hitting the target, you have to shout. for it to be a valid point.
Because
Because that's part of the whole kind of like showing your spirits. And
That was
having,
it.
That's cool.
that's the part that got me. I'm like, oh, that's like you mean it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like there's no, you can't get a point accidentally.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really, really cool.
So it's really loud, but it's also really cool. Because then, what other part in life has you screaming? Like, when was the last time that you screamed for real? You know?
I mean, years.
Yeah, maybe
You know?
maybe at a show if it's really loud. Maybe. Yeah.
No, but
not
not
the
like not
same.
like just like
It's not like
I
a-
fucking mean it.
Yeah.
Like that's, I mean, and you get to do this every Saturday.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I mean it. Like
it's an outlet. Yeah, it's a really nice kind of like stress relief also. Yeah, it's good.
so after you do kendo every Saturday, more or less,
Oh.
do you guys like all hit the showers and be like, good game? Like how's that? like,
What's the locker room
yeah,
chat
yeah,
like
yeah.
in
What are you guys
Kendo?
doing? Like
Over here, not so much. So I'm at a
Sure.
kind of a community dojo here.
Right.
But yeah, it's very common for after practice, you know, you all go and grab a beer together,
Yeah.
or you go and grab brunch or breakfast depending on
that's
what
cool.
time you're practicing. It's a very communal thing. So yeah, 100%.
So no twisting towels and hitting each other.
None of that. None of that.
I tried. All right.
So speaking of hitting people with sticks, we got a great show for you lined up. As always, we're going to start with What Up, where we're going to talk about what we're playing. Then we're going to slide right into the main topic. Then we'll talk about news. And then we'll answer your questions from Discord. And now it's time for What Up, where we're going to talk about what we're playing. And the rule I made up 97 episodes ago, guess go first.
Oh,
What you playing?
what am I playing? So I'm a creature of habit, and I play the same games over and over again.
Nice.
But
Shit.
this week, I've been playing Valve's latest game, called...
Which is Half-Life 3. What,
No, but it's called Deadlock.
oh, okay.
So Deadlock is a third-person shooter MOBA
Oh.
from Valve.
Are you a big MOBA guy?
I am a really big MOBA guy.
Oh, okay, I didn't know
I
that.
would say Dota is probably the game that I've most played in my life, and I still continue to play to this day.
If you had to guess how many hours you have in Dota, what would you guess?
I don't have to guess because Steam shows it to you.
Oh!
And I'm hitting 3,000 hours.
What's
that's
that?
that's commitment.
It's a few days.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a few days, yeah.
I'm not a math guy,
Yeah.
but that's quite a few.
It is, yeah, it is. And so
Hundreds of days.
it is,
Sick.
yeah. But it, you know, I've been playing for a long time,
Right, of course.
and I love the game. I love the genre. I worked on a MOBA as well, and so like the whole genre is like a really passion for me. And so Valve releases the game, or like it's in soft launch right now, and it's a shooter. So third person, and like in the Venn diagram of things where it's like MOBA and shooter, I feel like I'm right in the middle.
That's your genre.
I feel like that's a shoo-in. Is that what you said? A shoo-in for me? Or
That
like
is what you say. I've never said that, but it is the,
well, I just said it.
it is the exact phrase. I'm
Yeah.
gonna start saying shoe in, dude.
Yeah, so I tried it out this week. I've only played a couple of matches, so this is really fresh eyes.
Right.
But I'm really intrigued by it. It's the whole kind of like MOBA formula. So if you think about games like Dota or League of Legends, so you pick a hero with like unique abilities, and you're thrown into a map, and you're playing in this case 6v6, and your goal is to destroy the enemy base. And you know, there's lanes and there's all these shops and elements that you find in those games. But it's also a shooter.
Right.
And there's other games in the genre that have tried to do this. Like Smite is a really popular one.
Oh, yeah.
Where they do the kind of like third person, but not quite kind of like gun. This one is like very kind of steampunky in that
Oh,
way.
cool.
Yeah, I'm super intrigued. They're doing some really cool kind of porting of those kind of like RTS MOBA mechanics into a shooter that are super fun.
How would it be different from Overwatch or those sorts of MOBAs?
Yeah, so I think Overwatch is more of a hero shooter, like an arena. Like
I don't know the difference.
so MOBAs are like, well, in this case, like it's really about like destroying a base, and there's what they call lanes,
Got it.
which are essentially the map is divided into kind of like corridors,
Right.
and then you have like your own little minions that are constantly spawning and pushing.
Oh, okay. So this is like Dota then.
It is like Dota.
Oh,
it's,
okay.
it's I think people have described it, and I completely agree. It's Dota with guns.
Oh, okay.
That's how it feels like.
That sounds pretty sweet.
Which is pretty damn sweet.
Oh.
And so yeah, right now it's soft launch. It kind of came out of nowhere, because I heard, like, when you hear about Valve releasing a new game, you're like, whoa, wait, what? And so I think it's been in closed beta for, I think, the better part of this year, but people weren't allowed to talk about it up until, I think, 2 weeks ago. And then Valve kind of lifted that restriction, and now people are playing it and posting videos and streaming on Twitch. And even this week, I think it hit like 90 or maybe 100,000 concurrent players on Steam.
Oh shit!
Which is some wild numbers.
What's your rank?
Oh, I've only played a couple of games,
Okay.
so so yeah, I'm intrigued by it. I wasn't 100% like after I finished my first game, I was like, oh, I really want to play a second one right away. It's kind of like how can I say, has that same friction that other MOBAs have, which is you start the game, and even in this early access, you have 20 heroes to choose from. That 4 different abilities that scale differently depending on what level, and then there's a shop with 60 plus items. So it's very jarring.
Right.
So even someone who's kind of experienced in the genre, you get in and you have all these things to learn, which is friction, but it's also a really cool positive for retention as well, because like if you spend a lot of time to it and you invest and you learn all these things, you start feeling very skillful.
Yeah.
So for instance, like Dota, like even though the game keeps changing, whenever I'm playing it, I'm feeling like I'm not a great player, but I feel very skillful doing it.
Yeah.
Because I have all this knowledge and this time invested into it. And so, yeah, I think like if you can bypass that barrier for Deadlock, I think it's gonna hit the ground running.
Yeah. How long's a match about?
I'm seeing stuff like 30 minutes to 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think similar to other.
Yeah.
What's the main selling point? Like what's gonna like hopefully bring players over from their favorite MOBAs to this?
That's a good question. I think it's that mix of shooter and MOBA.
Right.
I think if they can hit that, correctly, then that's going to cater to some people. Because the shooter market is like huge, right?
You're right, of course.
And MOBAs are also gigantic. And so
Right.
There has to be an overlap, right? So yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm gonna keep playing some games, and yeah, good stuff.
Cool. How many characters have you tried so far?
I
Of
think
the 20.
three-ish. I've only played like 3 games at this point.
Got it.
So yeah, super fresh.
Have you played with any of your bros, your homies?
No, I'm solo queuing at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, when you played Dota and shit like that, did you play with bros? Like, call them up and okay. Do you have a squad?
Yeah. I mean, over the years, I had a lot of like different groups and friends who were playing it. And I think here it's a little hard because of time differences.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll play like in the morning with people from the like America or Canada. But yeah, I think it's mostly.
Sure. Well, I mean, that sounds pretty sweet. So you're gonna how many more hours are you gonna commit before you've decided I'm deleting my Dota account?
I think that would take a lot to make that happen. I think these things can coexist together.
We'll see. But there's only one timeline. You know what I mean? So you can only play one game addictively. Well, I guess you can't. But I don't know. Well, that sounds really, really cool. Are you playing anything else? You playing any non MOBAs currently? Any Switch game?
Switch, not so much. I think
Get
the
outta
last the last Switch game I played was Balatro.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck
So
yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys talked about it on the show.
No, never.
But yeah, it's really sweet roguelike card game. And that game like ate my life for like 2 weeks. I was just playing that like almost every day.
That was a pretty big hit.
It
too.
was, yeah. And, maybe we'll talk about it later, but yeah, they just announced some cool stuff
Yeah.
for that game.
Very, very cool. Kinsey, what are you playing?
So I'm a little bit late to the party because I know this was like a big like indie darling for a while.
Right.
But I am playing Dredge on Switch, and I'm really loving it. It's basically like, I don't know. I want to describe it because it gives me the feeling of a cozy game, and it kind of is. But it has like a little bit of that like Lovecraftian like North Sea horror, and it's pretty great.
So I don't know what Dredge is. Can I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, you own a harbor.
Okay.
And you have to make it so deep sea ships can come in. So you've got to dredge the harbor.
Nope.
And that's the game.
Nope. I mean, you're not the furthest off though.
So what's Dredge?
There's a boat.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yes.
You are a fisherman.
Okay.
And so it kind of starts like you're like the new fisherman. You're like new to town.
Right.
And there's like, some like story stuff with the characters, and you meet mysterious figures who ask you to do mysterious things.
Got it. What
And
kind
then,
of game is it?
But basically, your day to day is
Oh.
like you can explore new areas, but you would hang out in like the same area for a while and then move on to the next one. Like you drop your crab pots, you collect them in the morning, kind of thing. You go out, get your fish haul, come back, or go out and get a salvage haul of like crap, like metal, like parts to upgrade your ship, and
Okay.
come back. Like that's kind of the day to day is go out, get fish, come back.
And the fish are fucked up.
Yeah, and some of them
Well,
are
they
all
talk
like
to you? Why are they fucked up?
Well,
What-
there's
come
like
on.
it's like regular fish, but also something's gone south in the town of whatever. Like there's creepy crawlies out in that water.
Whateversburg.
In whatever's bird.
Yeah. Okay. So what have you been doing so far?
I'm almost done with. Like I know that I have the last mission to still do, or at least the one they've set up as the last mission.
Uh-oh.
So, but I'm kind of putting it off to do all the other like side stuff for now. But right now, I am trying to catch them all. Because you have like a fish encyclopedia of all the fish that you've caught over the time, including their like crazy fucked up like aberration ones,
Awesome.
which is pretty great.
Have you been playing any of the expansions?
No, not yet. I'm only playing vanilla at the moment. I thought there is the new expansion, and then there's also like the ice one, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I think the ice one was the first expansion,
Mhm.
and then was it last week they released a new one. I haven't seen any of them either,
Yeah.
but I'm super keen.
Yeah,
Now
I
that we're
really want to
talking
try
about
it.
it.
Like now that I've like played it for a while, although like the only thing when I first started playing it, I think I'm starting to like get it more. But the only thing I was worried about is since it counts the days, I didn't know if I had like a limited number of days, and I was like, uh-oh. But I don't think I do, because I was like really slow going it. Like I wanted to upgrade my entire ship before I did some of the story stuff,
Right.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And at first I thought I was like playing it wrong because I felt like I could like min max it better than I was, because like I feel my only complaint about it is that I think the days are too short, which improves a little bit once you upgrade your engines a lot, because then you can move faster.
Sure.
But because the time only passes while you're actively fishing or moving. So like as you move, the clock counts up of the day. Kind
Oh,
of
got
thing.
it.
Yeah.
So is it okay? I still don't know anything about it. Is it like Harvest Moon but fishing and evil?
Kind of.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
extrapolate. You know, like that's what I
I just like
imagine.
that there's like some random big baddies sometime that I don't know are gonna be there, and like if you don't sleep, you're like more susceptible to the crazy,
Ooh, that sounds
the
cool.
deep down crazies.
It's a good name though, Dredge. Like I
is.
imagine a lot of
Yeah.
evil shit with that. Like
Yeah, like at first I thought I was kind of playing it wrong though, because a lot of people were telling me that it was really scary. Like when I was looking stuff up on Reddit, people were like, I don't know if I can play this game, and I was like, look guys, I am like literally the biggest scare weenie on the planet, and and I don't think it's scary.
I got a solution for all you people that think it's scary. Listen to our podcast at max volume on the toilet while playing the game. How do you feel about that?
Confused and a little scared.
Yeah.
See?
Are you more scared now?
It does have a few panic moments though, where I'll be like going, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what's that? Wait, ah!
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I think the overall mood is more eerie than scary.
Yeah,
to me.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love that like kind of setting and mood. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really great that you're also kind of like discovering like that it gets like more eerie, more creepy,
Yeah.
and you're trying to understand like what's going on as opposed to just like a jump scare or something. that's,
Yeah.
like, inherently
It's a
scary.
slow burn.
It is.
Like you find like letters that slowly also get more crazy. Like you find some like random people on islands that are like they're already gone
Ooh, cool.
because of this like evil sinister thing that's happening in the world that some people don't believe, some people ignore, some people are like terrified of.
All right.
So
You're starting to sell me. All right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So great. Do you like fishing games in general? Like
I
mini
think
games
so.
or-
I think so.
If you do, I can't recommend this game enough.
yeah, it's so great. Tony's been watching me like it started him just sitting on the couch next to me like reading or on his phone or whatever. And all of a sudden he's like, "Wait, what is that? Wait, what if you did this?" You know, like
That's cool.
and now he just like when I play it, he just watches.
Francis, have you beaten the game?
I have, yeah, when it came out.
Give her the spoiler.
No, it's worth discovering and playing. Yeah, it's such a treat.
Yeah, I've done all of the areas. All the areas are done.
Okay.
I just got to do like the last thing.
Okay. Yeah, I know where you're at.
I'm really excited to finish it, and yeah, I really love it. And
Awesome.
on a completely different note,
Yes.
I'm also playing WarioWare Move It,
Oh.
the latest installment of the WarioWare franchise on
Oh.
Switch. It's a lot like all the other ones, which is not a bad thing because I really like WarioWare a lot. But this one, you're like all on like a like tropical island vacation, so it's all kind of island themed. But do you know have you guys both played WarioWare?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
It's like the quick movement mini games.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So they have a new like movement because they always like name all the like ways you hold the Joy-Con and stuff. There's one that's like, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's basically like a trust fall where when you're holding your Joy-Con, you have like the wrist strap, but you just drop it like
That's
a free
so
drop,
cool.
which is cool. Except I lost my little wrist strap, like plastic thing you
Oh.
have to put on it, and that's what has the wrist strap.
Uh,
So every time that one comes up, I'm like, oh, and I pull my coffee table
Right.
over, and I like put a pillow,
Sure.
and then it like bounces, and I'm like, I don't think this is how this was designed.
That's cool.
that sounds fun.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it though. It's WarioWare, so. It's
Is
fun.
there like a multiplayer option there?
Yeah, right now I'm playing it 2-player.
Okay.
So we're playing like they have like a story mode and then a party mode. I've never touched the party mode because the story mode you can play 2-player. So it's been really fun.
Yeah, I recently revisited like the original WarioWare on the GBA
Yeah.
because I had like the Nintendo Online expansion pack.
Oh, so good.
And
The
it's like-
GBA one's great.
It's so wild. Like I'm looking at that game and I'm like, how did Nintendo release this? It's just like it's perfect, but it's also like a buffet of very different
Is that
things.
the Warped?
right?
The one with the gyro? I think there's 2 of them on the
Yeah.
Game Boy Advance.
I can't remember the one I played.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like if you look at it, you're like, there's no way that Nintendo made this. It's just like the best game, and
Right.
it's also just like
WarioWare's so good.
clip art and like it's a mishmash in all different styles. And yeah,
They're wild. I love it.
I am such a huge fan. I've totally forgot this was coming out for Switch. This is me and a half. I've spent 2,000 hours on WarioWare DIY. So
Oh, yeah.
like I love that genre. It's so
Yeah.
cool. Well, that's exciting. I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
All right.
Mark
So,
Lentz, what
all
you
right.
playing?
So, you played Deadlock. You played Dredge. I played another indie darling, Doom 1 and Doom 2.
Oh, Indie Darling.
Indie darling. That just got a re-release last week, and it has re-release on all consoles, everything. And who hasn't played Doom 1 and Doom 2? Obviously, but I think they're calling this the final update. I think. But basically, it includes everything that's ever been released on all of them, a new expansion pack. It also includes Sigil, which John Romero made maybe 3 years ago as an expansion pack, like not an official expansion pack at the time. Now it is, and it also includes multiplayer on the Switch. So it feels really weird to go back to play one of the hardest multiplayer games ever, first-person shooters ever on Switch.
Yeah.
And it is a delight because one hit kills anything, and it's the fastest-paced mess of a game, and it is fucking amazing. Also, I bought Sigil, John Romero's expansion pack, when it came out. I didn't spend a lot of time on it. This, however, I beat it front to back, and I gotta say, that guy is a genius. It's all of his stages are super linear, but you never know it. Like every time I'm like, man, this guy's so good. Like it funnels me in, but I don't know I'm being funneled. Like it's so nice to go back and play these games perfectly. Like it's I've been playing these games forever and ever, but now playing them again, it's the way I actually imagined them. Because if you go back and play Doom 1, bog standard, it's not great. But they've fixed everything. Please buy it. Please buy it. If you like first-person shooters, this is masterclass. It's never sounded better. It's got a full new OST. It's got 12 expansions, I think.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And all of them are fucking phenomenal. Like if you like Doom. If you don't like Doom, then
Yeah.
it's just more Doom.
Yeah.
Like, but for people that actually like these things, it couldn't be better. It almost feels like Digital Eclipse and the way they treat their like Atari 50 when that came out like last year. It like
so much care
and so much respect goes into it. Like they know how to treat the IP, and they also know how to treat the fans. Like they understand what people want. People don't want like the game to be in 3D. They don't want it to be this. They want it to just be the way it was, but perfect. And it finally is, and it won't get better than this. And if it does, man, they're fucking geniuses. But it's really amazing, and I think it's like $10. Or if you owned any Doom or Doom 2, you just get it.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh wow, yeah.
So like that's another thing, and there's gonna be three, I think, a few updates. I actually don't know how many, and they're all just gonna be free forever. Like Bethesda, they might be a megacorp, but I feel like they understand their audience really, really well.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of love for them. I don't love all their games, but that's not for me to decide. You know what I mean? Like you might like a different Bethesda game, but they know how to treat their fan base.
Yeah, definitely.
In like every one of these ecosystems. So if you like that shit, highly recommend. I'm so enthusiastic about it. So that's it.
Hello, my name is Dan Gorman, one of your trusty Chew High Labs moderators, back again with another episode of Play This Shit. Go Mecha Ball is an isometric twin-stick, frantic arcade shooter with rogue-like progression and pinball bouncing reload mechanics developed by Whale Peak Games. Each level is an arena-style, wave-based shootout where you can switch between mech, twin-stick shooting, and curling up into a Metroid-like ball to bounce from enemy to enemy. This game has style oozing out of its pores, a bevy of different gun types, great music, terrific boss battles, and so much more. Bouncing from enemy to reload and to stun them, building combos, all the different weapons. It is so great and feels so good. It might not be the deepest game in the world or offer a ton of long-term replayability, but the feel of this game is off the charts and had me coming back again and again. So I think this has been getting a little bit of an underrated, reputation. It did launch on Game Pass, so you can play it there. But otherwise, you can get it on Steam and some other places. So that's it for today. Go Mecha Ball. Check it out if you like that kind of a roguelike game. But as always, join us on the Chew High Labs Discord. And remember to play good games.
It's time for our main topic, and our main topic this episode.
What is it?
Yeah. What is it? Do we know? Sure. Favorite games that we've never completed.
Oh my God.
I think this is a really interesting topic because, like, I'm sure even you listeners, like, you have this game that you remember so fondly. You're like, no, that game's awesome. That top 25, one of my favorites.
Yes.
But you actually never finished it.
Yes. I think this is everyone.
Yeah. 100%.
And
yeah.
let's start with us, not them. Should the guest go first?
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. This topic is like 100% me. It feels like I would say most of the games that I call my favorites, I have actually never finished.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
Like I was saying earlier, how I grew up on Final Fantasy, but like in reality, is like I played all those games, but actually only finished a couple of them.
Yeah.
So which of them would you like casually say one of my favorite games is, but you've never beaten it?
Shining Force 2 for the Sega Genesis.
Oh,
Nice.
Great choice.
Yeah.
That was all right. I thought you were gonna say Final Fantasy. Okay, cool.
It's a twist.
Wow, that is a good twist. I'm right there with you. I
It's
love that game.
Such a good game. So I had it as a kid, and I got really far into it. Like I think just before the ending, and the save battery died or something happened.
Oh no.
Wow.
And
Okay,
so
well, that's different.
I'm not using this as an excuse,
Yeah.
because I have over time revisited this game over and over again,
Right.
and even recently because it's on the Switch Online
Oh, no
expansion pack, and I've never finished it, but I love that game, and it is one of my favorite games. And I even found like a Japanese copy at a store here, and I was so happy
You bought it.
that I bought it. I'm not a collector by any means, but
Sure.
there were 2 Genesis games in that store, and one of them was Shining Force 2 boxed
It's
with
fate.
the manual. I'm like, oh my god. So yeah, it's such a darling for me, but yeah, I never finished it.
So, what is Shining Force 2? For just really quick.
Sure. So Shining Force 2 is a tactical RPG. So if you think about games like Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem, that was made for the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, and it's a follow-up to Shining Force. And yeah, you kind of go from battle to battle, controlling units on a grid, and they're each like their own kind of like heroes
Right.
with different abilities and different spells. And yeah, it's a whole kind of like grand story across multiple continents.
Shining Force 1 was on the Game Gear, right?
I believe so.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
You're
I'm
like
sorry.
really good at explaining what a game is. I just was thinking in my head how I was explaining Dredge, and I'm like, man, nobody knows what that game is.
It's a tactical RPG. It's grid based and whatnot. It's one of my favorite games too. But like, I
Have you
don't know
beaten
what
it?
the story. No, I haven't. But I don't know what the story is about. You know what I mean? Like I love the gameplay so much
Yeah.
that I like forget. You know.
Yeah.
One, what's the story about? Two, will you finally beat it now that we've you've called yourself out?
I have actually. So I don't know if I'll ever beat it. The thing is, over time, I've also like watched other people beat it. I've watched
Right.
speed runs and showcase them like AGDQ and stuff like that.
Right.
So the story, man, I don't know if I'm going to do this justice. It starts with this thief called Slade who kind of
Slade.
yeah, it's such a cool name, right? Takes off kind of like 2 jewels from like a temple, and it starts like a chain reaction of like unleashing a demon that possesses like a king, and then they go to war, and then there's a giant earthquake that forces people to relocate, and yeah, it's this whole grand story of demons versus the world.
Is
Right.
the thief one of the main characters?
He joins your party later on,
Cool.
pretty early on in the
Cool.
game, and yeah, fun fact, Slade was like one of my nicknames online when I was a kid. That's how much I
Aw,
love
that's
Wow. Okay. Do you like the '70s glam band Slade, known for their hit "All the Young Dudes," as written by David Bowie?
I don't know this, but I have to check it out.
I just gave you some joy because
Great.
they're awesome.
Awesome.
Well, that's a pretty good one. Any other like favorite games? How about we bounce back to Kinsey and
Yeah.
then we'll find you.
So one that you reminded me of, because you said the save battery died. So when I was younger, I loved Banjo-Kazooie.
Right.
And one of the times I played it, I got as far as I'd ever gotten, and my little brother deleted my save game, and I my life was over.
Obviously.
I remember I got on the bus to go to school, and I sat next to my like nerd friend who we always talked about video games on the bus, and I was like, "If a save game's deleted, can you get it back?" And he's like,
Oh,
"No." And
that's so sad.
and I've never gotten farther than that. Like I've played it again multiple times,
Sure.
but I've never.
So Banjo-Kazooie is your choice for
That's
today?
the one I just thought of for this. The one I thought of when we originally came up with the category
Yeah.
was like, I absolutely love the Persona series.
Yeah.
And then the more we talked about it the other day, the more I realized I don't know if I've completed a single Persona game. Like a single one. I've always gotten over like 100 hours, but I don't know if I've ever finished it. Like I remember like Persona 5, the most recent one.
Right.
I played the hell out of it, like 150 hours, you know. And then Breath of the Wild came out.
And how many hours did you put in that game?
Like 250 at least.
And did you finish that?
Is that one of your favorite games?
I also didn't beat Breath of the Wild. But what comes out of the Breath of the Wild though
Right.
is, I don't know, Zelda games, they have a story, but the story's not why you play a Zelda game for the most part. For me. But like, especially Breath of the Wild, because there's so much to do in that world that like I feel like I beat it even though I didn't. Like, you know, I did what I set out to do.
Right.
I got all the shrines, I got all the things, and I was like, yep, that was great, but I never went back to the castle and beat Ganon. I beat all the thing, like,
You got all the shrines, but you didn't beat Ganon.
yes.
But to Kinsey's credit, though, I have beat the game, and I don't know if beating Ganon like made me fulfilled. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, this was better. Don't get me wrong, that's a great castle, and like, it is a fun ass castle. But it's not like the ending is like so amazing that it's like, oh, finally, like. Because to your point, the story isn't. We're not here for that. We're here to like explore this awesome Hyrule.
And I've played enough Zelda games at this point that the story, while intricately different, is the same.
I mean, yeah,
You know?
I mean, bad guy.
I get it.
Taking over the world. I mean, yeah. Okay. Any other like favorite games? I'm sure you've got a couple Final Fantasies in there.
The earlier I've never beaten a single Final Fantasy pre-7.
Right.
But they're fantastic games. I have no excuse for why I've never finished one.
But you also wouldn't call them your favorites, though, right?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I think all the Final Fantasies that I consider my favorite, I've completed.
Sure. Okay, so that one, that's safe.
Safe.
So Square Enix, first hire Francis back, and then make a new game, and then she'll beat it.
Yeah.
All
What about
right.
you, Mark?
Yeah. So I've got a really embarrassing one. So one of my favorite games in the world is a game called Super Mario 2. I have beaten that many, many times.
I was going to say, wait, I
No,
know for a fact you've
many,
beaten
many, many times. Like I'll beat that on a weekend just for fun. But a game that I have that I would also call one of my favorites of all time is Super Mario 3. And I get stuck in World 8.
Sure. Yeah.
And I don't like cheating.
Yeah.
You know, because I like to consider myself a good Mario player, but like I honestly just get really frustrated. I'm like, But so like I have played that game also thousands of times, but by the time I get to World 8, I just kind of lose steam a little bit, and it's because first of all the cool mechanics have been shown to you. Mm-hmm. You've been to the cool water world. You've got the frog suit. You've done all these awesome things, and by the time you get to this brown world,
It is very brown.
it's brown, and I just kind of lose interest, even though I love that game with all my heart. And it is a little embarrassing, and I should rectify this at some point. Have you guys beat all the Marios?
Not all the Marios. There's some I haven't played, but I totally get it for
Right.
3, where it's like at that point you're doing a lot of like levels that are just like side-scrolling airship
Yeah,
levels
Yeah.
and like dungeon, and it's all fiery and a lot of traps, and yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, the dungeon trap ones, and then there's a couple that are they're just hard mode stages. Like
Sure.
they're not new mechanics. They're not bringing some like. After a while, the airships, like, you don't need that many.
Sure.
We've already
No.
played 8 up to that point,
Yeah.
and then now you have to do 7 in a row or something like that. But yeah, and it's a shame because I've never heard the final boss music. I have never even listened to it outside of that. It's the final. This should be the some of the best music in the game. And I've never heard it. I don't know what Bowser looks like. Yes,
Probably a turtle.
I'm gonna guess. Is he actually a turtle? Is he a turtle? What is-
Bowser? Yeah, Bowser's a turtle. What else would he be? I mean, he's a Koopa, technically.
I always thought he was a tortoise.
Some might call him the
Oh,
king of the
Oh,
Koopas.
Yeah, I guess so. All right. Well, I actually like after all these years, I'd never considered him a turtle for some reason, even though he's got a turtle shell. All right.
Tortoises have turtle shells.
I've just never considered even that.
What's the difference between a turtle and
Tortoises are big and they live a long time.
Fact.
Fact.
a turtle? Look it up.
Yeah, but there's like other ones for me real quick. Like I have beaten Celeste, but I've never beaten any of the additional DLC.
Sure.
I just kind of beat it, and then all the DLC came out. I'm like, I've already done the story.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it ended perfectly for me. How could they make it better? And I'm sure it does, but it's the story's done for me.
I'm really bad at beating DLCs, especially if a DLC comes out, but I've already completed the main story. If
Yeah.
it's not designed to be after the main story,
Right.
I will probably never, ever, ever play it. In it like a
Right.
story-heavy game.
Yeah.
I get that.
Well, I also got Chrono Trigger,
Yeah,
Oh,
same.
yeah,
100%
same.
same.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
100% same. Yeah.
and I've been all the way to the end, and I just kind of like I think in that one maybe it's not the same for you guys, but like it's you fizzle out interest a little bit, even though the game's perfect. It's just sort of like eating too much pizza even gets tiring.
Yeah, I think
You
it's
know.
really interesting how you can fizzle out on a game but still consider it a favorite. I think
Yeah.
that just really shows how games as a medium is like so much more because
Right.
like you might spend, 150 hours. Like you can't imagine if someone was like, "Oh yeah, that's my favorite movie, but I've never seen how it ends." I feel like that's that's more unfathomable to me than like a game.
Yeah.
Am I on my own there?
No, but like, well, I mean, I'm thinking of. I love Game of Thrones, but I haven't seen past season 5.
Yeah.
Because I fizzled out.
Well,
of-
TV shows I think are more like
You're
games
right,
because
yeah.
it's like 100 hours, or maybe
Yeah,
not
yeah,
100,
yeah,
but you
yeah.
know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know.
You can love the portion that you played. Right?
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like, yes, you're missing out on like the whole thing,
Yeah.
or like things wrapping up. But like from the parts that you played, you can love this and you can cherish this, right?
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't call this like one of my favorites. And I don't know about you guys, but actually like games like Chrono Trigger that you brought up, like it reminded me that like all these games that I haven't finished, I still listen to the music a lot.
Oh yeah.
And so I know these soundtracks like by heart.
Like more than the
but
game.
I've never actually played the levels in which these appear,
Yeah.
right? So kind of like spoiling myself with music. And so I think like
Yeah.
That's
that
interesting.
helps into like elevating it into something that's like I would call my favorite.
Yeah.
Because
that's true.
it's a lot more than just the actual game.
That's true.
I bought the like
Interesting.
way too expensive million vinyl set that came out for Persona 5,
Sure.
and I never beat it. And like I absolutely adore and love that game.
Great. I mean, yeah, it is a very interesting concept.
Yeah. That's why I think it's such a good topic. It's like, you know, you can consider something your favorite even though you never beat. You got what you needed out of it, and it, like, but in like a really good way, not in like a. I almost made a really bad analogy.
Yeah.
I think when we say favorites,
Not
it's
in
also
a hit it and quit it kind of way.
Yeah, I think for me also when I say favorites, it's also like I think about it as inspiration.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
I
Yeah.
think about like there's so much of those games that I like has influenced the way that I make games. And so yeah, I can say that these are my favorite even though I haven't finished them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's such a big influence.
Pink Floyd, it's one of my favorite bands.
Mhm.
Everything after Dark Side of the Moon is hot garbage to me. But like I've never, but yet I still consider them one of my favorite bands.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not dissimilar.
It's not. Yeah.
It's very interesting, actually.
It's cool.
No, it's weird that we sometimes think we have to, like, to be a fan of something, we have to know every single detail.
Yeah.
You know?
And you don't.
Yeah, you don't.
And you're no like necessarily less of a fan than someone who did finish it.
Yeah.
In fact, you may love it more, than the person who finished it. You don't even know, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Love what you love.
Yeah.
And games are cool.
They really are.
Games are cool, bro.
Games are cool. And now it's time for the news.
The news. Beep, beep,
All right,
beep, beep.
so you know what, guys? Some stuff happened.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, let's go home.
All right. The olds.
So, but since the last episode, we had a Nintendo Direct double feature.
Double
We had
feature.
Multiple Nintendo Directs.
How many?
2, but like it's kind of like 3.
All right. It will hit us with the double feature.
So there was multiple Nintendo Directs since our last show. Aren't we lucky?
Yes.
We finally got to take a look at the new Nintendo Museum, which will be opening up in Uji, which is just south of Kyoto, on October 2nd. The only way to currently get tickets is to enter a lottery, which actually by the time this episode comes out is over, so I hope you did that. And so hopefully you can buy them the old-fashioned way soon.
Okay. First of all, what's in said place, museum?
Yeah,
And also, did you get tickets or apply?
I applied for the lottery,
Okay.
but they don't announce the winners until beginning of September.
Okay.
But I did apply. Did you guys apply for the lottery?
I did not.
I did not.
Oh. I think,
No.
I mean, sorry, listeners. I think you still can. But listeners won't be
I
able
might.
to. But
Yeah. All right.
I think
Are-
today's the last day.
Are you psyched about it?
I am. Okay, so I love Nintendo. I've loved Nintendo since I can remember. Like, my dad bought an NES before I could think,
Right,
but I'm really hoping that they kind of prove me wrong, because any museum exhibit I've been to that is video games, it's always for people who don't know anything about video games. So it's so high level that sometimes it's less fun for like a fan. And I don't really know how to phrase that to make it not sound like, "Ooh, I'm a Nintendo fan," But what we saw of it in the Nintendo Direct did look really cool, like showing like all of Nintendo, even their like pre-video game stuff with Hanafuda cards and like the old like light gun games and roulette wheels and all kinds of weird shit that they did.
Yeah, you want to see like the weird things that you can't see like online or
Yeah.
that you haven't seen before. Yeah, it's exciting. Have you guys been to? Because there's the old Nintendo office in the city, right?
Yeah.
And now it's
It's a hotel.
It's a hotel.
I've been to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been to it a few times. And usually when people come to town, and if I take them to my favorite beer spot, which is right next to it, we always go by there.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
So you said you're scared that it'll be too high level or like for everyone more or less.
Yeah, I hope so. But I hope I'm wrong. I really, really, really do.
I don't think it will be.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool because based on the stuff they showed, it looks interactive and showing the old stuff, and yeah, I hope it'll be awesome.
I think that they're gonna find a way to like not be for everyone. I think that like I can go and I'll find something that I've never seen.
Yeah,
And,
that's what I
like,
want.
And like I'd put money on it. Like I have this feeling that they actually care about their legacy.
Yeah.
You know, I really, really do. There again, like the hotel, for example, like it's just a hotel now. That's all it is. But it's not just a hotel. It's like a really nice hotel.
Yeah.
Like it's like you walk in and you're like, oh, obviously this cost $1,000.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're trying to box people out, but they're trying to treat this building with like true respect.
Yeah.
So I have really high hopes.
Yeah, me too.
And I've never even been to like Super Nintendo World because that doesn't look like it's for me.
Yeah.
This for me looks like all right, they got it.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about it. I thought the trailer was really exciting too because we don't get to see Miyamoto that much anymore.
Yeah.
So that was really like, it's clearly coming from him and like hopefully coming from him, and he cares about the legacy.
Yep.
You know, it's
And
his legacy.
I love that symbolically he got that like first visitor card.
Right.
Where he was like, I was the first one to go to the Nintendo Museum, and I was like, oh, that's so nice.
That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
That's really cool. And next up,
Okay.
we also, from Nintendo, had the Indie World and Partner Directs. We got to see some upcoming indies like Peglin Pico Park 2, the upcoming DLC for Sea of Stars for the indies. And for the partners, there was like a lot of collections. Castlevania, Capcom Fighting, lots of stuff. Suikoden 1 and 2 Remaster, an all-new Rune Factory, and Neva.
Yeah, Neva. So from the Gris developers,
Oh.
not the partners. But yeah, they showcased their new game in that direct, and it looks wonderful. I know nothing about it, but visually it looks amazing.
Yeah, I really liked Gris. Yeah. It was funny. I asked one of the developers once because, like, it was while I was working with Devolver that came out.
Yeah.
So I was talking to them, and I was like, "Is it Gris or Gris?" And they were like, "Well, it's Gris." But honestly, I don't care. Like, if you want to say Gris, say Gris.
If you give me money,
Yeah,
you can call it whatever you
call it
want.
whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Well, that's cool, man. So it seems like it was a pretty good announcement this time around for the indies.
Yeah, there was a lot shown very quickly because
Yeah.
they kind of like did the Indie World and the Partner Direct like back to back.
Right.
Yeah, and then they showcased. So I mentioned it earlier, but Bellagio was doing this cool kind of collab with other brands, and so I think it's a collab with they're doing Among Us.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Vampire Survivors.
Whoa.
They've got
Witcher?
The Witcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dave the Diver. Maybe? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just like a cosmetic thing, but it
Yeah.
is kind of a free collab. And honestly, like any reason to go back to that game is a good reason. Play Bellagio. It's good.
I'm pretty excited about the Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster. Suikoden 1 would be of that previous topics.
I've never finished it.
Suikoden 1 in particular, like it's not as good as number 2, but that I would call Suikoden 1 one of my favorite games as well.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I could actually beat the damn thing. But Suikoden 2 is fucking awesome, and that's fucking good. Go
Yeah.
play that, all right? There's a fucking Iron Chef-like moment in that game that still holds up like a motherfucker.
What does that mean?
Iron Chef is like a television show here in Japan where the chef is given an ingredient and they have to like compete.
Right.
Yeah, like you know Iron Chef.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, yeah.
But I mean,
So-
like in the context of Suikoden.
It like you have to using certain characters get certain ingredients and then you have to compete to make food.
That's great.
Yeah. And you pick your team. I actually don't fully remember, but you pick your team, and depending on the team, rather than ingredients, it's like what characters you're using. Yeah,
so
it's
cool.
really silly. It's
Oh,
really,
that's
really
cool.
silly. But so, yeah, I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, so we got to see some really good stuff. And then Gamescom happened.
Germany,
Yeah, so the biggest game convention in like the world happened.
right?
So there was a bunch of announcements. So I just got a list here, so I'm just gonna like rapid fire them.
Hit
and
it.
we can say what we care about.
Let's go for it. Yeah.
So the ones I have here is Mouse PI for Hire. We got a new gameplay trailer, and I'm not sure. It might be the first gameplay trailer. So I think before we only had like a teaser announcement, and we got to see a lot more on Avowed, way more gameplay, and it just to me looks like a fantasy spinoff of Outer Worlds, and I'm like, yes. Borderlands 4 was officially revealed. It's a thing. We all knew it was a thing, but now it's officially a thing. The first Mafia game in a decade was announced, which is Mafia: The Old Country.
Ooh.
I didn't even know that franchise was still going. I mean, I guess it kind of wasn't because it was 10 years. But
Ooh, The Old Country.
yeah. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 had its first gameplay trailer. Marvel Rivals release date was announced, and a bunch of other stuff. Did you guys watch anything on Gamescom?
Mafia.
Nice.
I was
really surprised to see that.
Yeah.
It was like not on my bingo card for this year or for any year ever again. So that's awesome.
Come to think of it, so I like Mafia.
Yeah.
And come to think, they've been doing a lot of sales, and it was for the last year, and it was the free game on Epic Game Store for a month, I think. It all makes
They're
sense.
getting ready.
Yeah, it all makes sense because when it came out, all this stuff, I'm thinking, why are they dredging this up? Don't point at me.
Call back.
But why are they dredging up this old corpse of a game? Now it makes sense. Yep. And the Old Country, come on, that's the Old Country. It sounds pretty sweet.
So I've never played Mafia. What kind of game?
Come on now. What do you think you do in a game like Mafia?
I mean, I can imagine a
that
couple
one.
of things. Okay, yeah.
No, I mean, you're just.
Is it like a third-person kind of?
Man, I will not let you do this.
All
We're
right,
gonna go check
all
this
right.
up.
Let's do it after. Let's do it after.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen anything before on Mouse PI for Hire? At first, I thought it was announced here. I didn't realize that there was a previous trailer until I looked it all up.
I don't know what it is. What is it?
So it's a first-person shooter that looks like Cuphead. So it's like that 1930s style cartoon.
That's fun.
I have heard of this one because is this the one that's knocking off old Mickey?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same movie.
That one.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I have seen. Has there been footage?
I didn't think so, but I maybe put my foot in my mouth there because.
But I mean, if it's the first official gameplay trailer, that's
think it
different
is,
than
yeah.
random footage. Okay.
It looks really cool because Cuphead, I always thought looked beautiful, and I would love to love it.
But
it's not my kind of game. It's too hard. No, I can't. It's not for me.
Yeah, you don't like side-scrolling shooters, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm horrible at them.
Yeah.
So something like this, which is like a first-person shooter, I'm like, ooh, that could be more my speed, and it looks rad.
Right.
So
Nice.
yeah,
Is that coming out for console?
I have no idea. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Great.
October 15th.
It is now.
Borderlands 4. That sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah,
especially with the movie.
Yeah, that's exactly
that
what I
everyone
was gonna
loves,
say.
a renowned hit of a movie. I loved Borderlands 2 and Tiny Tina, and that's the where it ends. I actually didn't play Borderlands 3, but I could get back into Borderlands 4.
Yeah.
It's like a great game to play with friends for 20 hours straight and then never play it again.
Borderlands.
Yeah. You're like, all right, I'm done with this. It's such a good looking game, so it's really, really exciting.
I'm really looking forward to Avowed because I really like Obsidian a lot, and I really liked Outer Worlds. I know it was short and not everybody loved it, but it was exactly the package I wanted, like Fallout, but in a little package,
Right.
where I don't have to play it for 100 hours. You
Right.
know, I can play it for 25 and I still get what I want out of it. So I'm really excited about that. Are you excited about anything from Gamescom?
I actually haven't been keeping up with games.
Cool.
So, yeah, cool. So all of this is new to me.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
Now it's time for Call Me Up, where we answer your questions from Discord. If you ever want to ask us a question that we will probably answer on the show, go over to our Discord and scroll down to the Call Me Up and write your question there.
What kind of questions do we have, and do we have a lot of them?
We have one super awesome question from one of our awesome mods.
Which is named?
From
It's Discord Dan, all right?
Discord
Discord Dan, a.k.a. Yikmid, all right?
I just really wanted you to say
Yeah,
Yickman.
Yikmid. So what did he ask us?
All right. What movie would you want to see turned into a video game, and what genre would it be?
First of all, Yickmid, someone has asked this before.
I hope it was you, because it'd be really funny.
That would be funny. We got to throw this. We're going to mix it up here just a little bit. We got to throw this to Kinsey. Go.
Oh man, I was not ready. A movie that would be turned into a video game.
Yeah.
I like how the first thing I thought of is literally already a game.
Okay.
Was Jurassic Park. And I was
Yes.
like, what if it was like Zoo Tycoon? I'm like, that exists.
That all went through your head just now?
Good answer. It did.
Cool. You would be Jurassic Park.
I think I would actually like something in the Game of Thrones universe that is not like a Telltale style, like telling a story, more like a Skyrim style, but in that like world.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, because what's the name of the continent again?
Westeros?
Westeros. Like imagine going to all those different places, like
Yeah.
down south where there's what's the name of the prince, the sexy prince?
Oh, the guy from Dorman, Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That guy's sexy.
He is. Then he, yeah.
Well, go on. I mean, it's
Let's
Game of
just say
Thrones.
he's not sexy anymore.
Oh,
but
yeah.
like a Skyrim-y type thing, even if like you were vying for the Iron Throne, or you could put someone on the Iron Throne, and then it's all about like the political intrigue of like getting the different houses to be kind of like Fallout New Vegas,
Right.
With like the factions, but you also have this like whole world to like explore.
Oh, so you're saying you would be like a random person that's not any related to any of these things, but
Yeah.
you're messing with the political
Or
intrigue.
like even what the Telltale game did was fine, where the house is like not a real house.
Right.
But then it deals with all the other houses,
Right.
you know, where like your house, whatever, that doesn't exist in the TV show, but you're interacting with all the ones that do.
I think that makes the most sense anyway from a
Yeah.
story perspective, because otherwise you would just, I don't know, they picked a house that you didn't like anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Like, or if you got to name your own house or something and, you know, start it from nothing. I don't know. Like, I think that'd be really cool. Like a big open world Skyrim-y RPG.
I am sure they've got 100 pitches for that.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like I'm sure every developer's like, please, it's got to be. But didn't old boy
I guess
George
that's not a movie, but
George R. Martin, didn't he write Elden Ring?
yeah, he was one of the writers on it. Yeah.
So you almost got it.
It's almost. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that
I
would
need
be really,
my
really cool.
little bit more political intrigue.
Right.
Good choice.
That
Thank
is a
you.
pretty
I mean,
good
it's the question was movie, but I mean, it's fine.
I'm gonna hop in and I'm gonna say When Harry Met Sally, the first perfect rom-com,
What kind of game would it be?
first-person shooter. All right, that's the best I got. I think it's a terrible idea. So, Francis, what do you got?
Yeah, that's a really hard question actually, because if you think about like movie like tie-ins,
Mm-hmm.
like I think a lot of times you don't really think about good examples.
Yep.
No.
But if you think about the games that like we grew up with as kids, there were a lot of great like movie games. Like if you think about like Disney's Aladdin for like
Phenomenal.
Genesis
Yeah.
or
Phenomenal.
Super Nintendo, which apparently are different games.
Yep.
I had the Genesis one,
And
which is great.
I did as well.
And the Super Nintendo one is better,
Okay,
but hold on, the Genesis one rules.
it was a great game, and like
fucking great.
The Lion King as well was. I mean, it was difficult at times, but
Really
also a
hard.
great game.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it's
That
aged.
giraffe part is so hard, bro.
Right,
It's
yeah.
so hard.
That puzzle with like the monkeys that throw you
Ugh.
through the giraffes. Yeah, I guess when I was a kid that was hard.
Yep.
And it would
Still
be just as
hard.
hard
Still hard.
You
today.
have to go the right way. Oh, terrible. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
And then like the ultimate movie tie-in, GoldenEye. Like
mean, it is-
GoldenEye
yeah.
was probably, I think,
probably
the
the-
most successful.
Yeah, it's
like,
got to
movie
be.
game,
Come to think
right?
of it.
I think it's so good that I separate it from the movie entirely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
well,
yeah.
it came out a lot later.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's I don't know.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
I don't want to answer this. I want to flip it around and say that I'd like a game to turn into a movie.
Hmm.
And man, that is.
Dredge.
Ah, that would be
I
really
think
good.
I would watch a movie about this atmospheric movie, a fisherman in this little
Yeah.
world where you don't know what's going on. I would watch it in a heartbeat.
And I think it'd be big too, because like North Sea like TikToks are really popular. Like how scary the North Sea is, basically. Perfect timing. The people already want it.
There
they
you
don't
go.
even know it.
There you
Is
go.
that where it takes place in the North Sea?
I don't know. It just got that vibe.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no, it doesn't, because there's definitely palm trees.
Oh,
Some regions, like there's a
Yeah.
big variety of
okay,
Yeah.
biomes.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think we all answered very uniquely into our character.
Awesome.
I
Thanks,
think-
Dan.
Yeah.
Nasty Labs. Nasty Labs.
And that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for listening. First of all, thanks, Francis. Thanks for coming on.
Francis.
Thanks, all. This
This
was really
was
fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks for
I
having
call him Frankie.
Please call me Frank.
Yeah.
So, Frankie, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter/X as at fpétrin.
F the train?
Fpétrin. Fpétrin. F veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where you can find me.
Okay. Like, what do you do on there?
Actually,
what do you
I
tweet about?
I don't actually. I mean, I retweet all the Juhai.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, so
Yeah.
if you want to follow Juhai Labs even more, then you can follow me.
All right, there we go. No, but also he does talk about cool things when he talks, which is very rarely.
Rarely,
But nobody uses social media anymore.
especially that website.
Hell yeah. And you can find me at twitter.com/thehenrydemos. Kinsey, where can people find you?
You can find me at Kinzilla, Knzilla. And, as always, Carve Snowboarding is out right now on the Oculus Quest. Halloween Forever is out right now on the Nintendo eShop. You can buy Curse of Golf on pretty much every platform. And you can buy Whitewater Wipeout and Carve Jr. on exactly one platform, the Playdate. And you can buy all of our merch. You can get it at the Yeti. You can get it at Sanchi. You can get it... Those are the only two places.
Oh, no. Wait, you said the record already.
And we have the Curse of Golf on vinyl at Black Screen Records.
Hell yeah.
Get that today. And, as always, thanks to you for listening. You are legally the best. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.